When a tree is tapped, obviously a hole is drilled into the tree, and that tree responds to that as an injury. The way it responds is through a process that's called compartmentalization of decay. So this dark streak that goes above and below this tap hole, and this tap hole is an illustration of that tree's ability to compartmentalize a wound. So that's a good thing because it limits the ability of decay to spread from the injury out into the rest of the tree. The downside of that is that this compartment, this discoloration, which is a staining, it's not a decay, it's a staining, this compartmentalization does not move sap. And as trees are tapped, they accumulate these columns of discoloration that don't allow sap to move. The advantage of a fast-growing tree is that you can add wood on the outside of the tree that does not have this discoloration. So as the tree continues to grow, and especially if the tree is growing faster, it grows beyond this discoloration and it has more wood that's available to move sap. You can think about this column of discoloration as having a bucket that you add rocks to. So if you have a bucket and it holds a gallon of water, if you put a rock into that bucket can hold less water. So each of these columns of discoloration is analogous to or is similar to putting a rock into a bucket. As you accumulate these different columns of discoloration, the tree can hold less sap. If your tree is fast growing, then you're going to be able to add additional wood, so it's like making your bucket bigger. Maple producers that are interested in trying to get their trees to grow fast, the simplest way to do that is to give those trees more sunlight. Sunlight is the most important environmental variable that dictates how trees grow. Sugar maple typically all grow on relatively fertile soil, not always, but the soils within a stand are going to be fairly similar. The one variable that a maple producer can change that will allow for those trees to grow faster is to give those trees more sunlight. So I usually think about sugar bush management or woodlot management or forest management, whatever you want to call it. You're not managing trees, you're managing which trees get sunlight. One of the ways that we manage the injury to a tree is through a process that we call pattern tapping. So every year when we're pulling the spiles, we'll take with us a can of paint and we'll put a little spot of paint wherever that spile was. So this is the spile for 2021. We haven't pulled them yet. This is the spile for 2020. This is the spile for 2019. The advantage of this is that we're working under vacuum. The tubing system is under vacuum, so we can pull sap from the circumference of the tree, but we've contained or concentrated our columns of discoloration in one location, and when we're ready to tap, we can always find where we were last year, and then we use a pattern of essentially a hand. So we go about 6 or 7 inches either above or below last year, and then we offset by about the width of the spile, so about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So we feel pretty confident then that we're in this clean section of tree, and we're not going to be tapping into this column of discoloration. The column of discoloration is centered at the spile and may extend as much as 16 inches above and 16 inches below that tap hole, and is usually about 3/4 of an inch to an inch wide. So that's a section of the tree, It's on the outside of the tree where we have the most conductive wood tissue that is not able to conduct sap.